Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and in our top stories today, breaking from Post-Millennial. A non-account holder CatTurd swatted after being doxxed by leftist outlets. Now, CatTurds is a social media personality who is also a podcaster. Some of you may know CatTurd from other social media platforms. During a Monday afternoon live stream, the man behind the conservative anonymous X account, CatTurd, was swatted. Around 1 hour into the litter box with Jules and CatTurd, episode 418, Jules Jones revealed that CatTurd had been swatted and wouldn't be rejoining the episode, which is unfortunate but not surprising. Jones said she received a text message that stated, "All right, so we have a big problem that's going on right now. Cat's house has just been swatted. Someone called and pretended to be him and said that he had been stabbed, or he had stabbed someone and had a firearm and was going to harm himself." So, of course, the police arrive assuming that someone is armed and they're ready for any encounter. This is why these swattings are so incredibly dangerous, as we have talked about many of them here on the BuzWeaver channel. So cops are obviously everywhere. They're all over CatTurd Ranch. He is trying to defuse the situation as we speak. So it's a very dangerous, volatile situation. But I think over time, as we have seen these swattings happen over the last, say, 6 years or so, or at least in the last 2 years, they seem to be more aware of this type of activity, which is incredibly unfortunate and incredibly dangerous. So we see here from CatTurd himself. Here he is on Twitter, or X. Of course, people are always still going to call it Twitter. And he says, "So I was just swatted during my podcast. The caller pretended to be me and told cops I stabbed someone and had a firearm and was going to harm myself. This is the result of being doxxed over and over by leftist outlets. You can imagine how dangerous this is." And it is very dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. From the Post-Millennial back in January of 2022, we have heard about, of course, Tim Pool gets swatted again during Timcast IRL. And podcaster Tim Pool has been swatted for the second time this month. He's been swatted, I think, a total of 8 times now since this particular swatting of January of 2022. And you see here, Luke Ronkowski says, well, we got swatted again. Yeah, seems like someone is really pissed at us. So if you just want to see a little bit of that, let me put on my headset here as I try to reach over here for it. And let's just listen to a little bit of this back from the original video.
Afterwards, and they actually announced a number of times.
Yeah, the cops just walked in.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Should we? Yeah, I was looking at my notes and I was like,
did somebody swat you?
Yep, somebody swatted us.
Did
Someone
they really?
swatted us?
Yep, somebody swatted us. So that's
How do you know?
what that
How do you
was.
know?
I have somebody texting me.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
Tim's gonna go
Wow.
take care of
So,
business.
yeah, just a police officer
Just stroll
entered
it in.
here, looked around because it looks like someone swatted this block.
So there you have it. And this, fortunately, worked out fine because, you know, there was obviously no real danger happening. However, Ian, who is often on the show, will sometimes jump up and run down a hallway to use the restroom to make it back in time. And they were just simply saying that, you know, thankfully Ian wasn't on this night and the police didn't come as he was trying to run down a hallway, because that could have, you know, obviously excited the officers that arrived. And of course, another personality. Now, Tim and Jeremy are both kind of center. Tim has described himself, and others have described him as a milquetoast fence-sitter. He is not a conservative, and he is definitely not right-wing. I agree with some of the things he says, but not all. Same thing goes with Jeremy. He's also very center-left. These individuals are both classic liberals, so they don't entirely share a conservative or even right-wing perspective. So that doesn't stop people, of course, from attacking them or identifying them as right-wing. So YouTuber The Quartering and Tim Pool subjected to simultaneous swatting attempts. And then here, just YouTuber Jeremy The Quartering Hambly. His name is Jeremy Hambly. And Tim Pool were both reported subject to separate but related swatting attempts on Tuesday night. So there was a time where the two of them were swatted in June at the same time. So it's interesting because if you look up Democrats or Democrat politicians or left-wing personalities, they never get swatted. I've never been able to find a swatting of these individuals. And last year as well, in August of last year, just over a year ago, Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene says she was swatted last night, and she was at her home. Far-right Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I love that far-right, was swatted early Wednesday morning in a prank that police say was due to her views on transgender rights. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. When you don't agree with the left, you are an enemy. And like the Democrats say, if you don't, well, they don't say it, but if you don't agree with Democrats, then obviously you are a threat to democracy, and this is the way they play it. This is why here on the BuzWeaver channel, we take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the confusion, we take the tumult, and we break it down into very simple terms. The left and the Democrats do not like anyone who does not agree with them. They are a threat to their ideology, their philosophy, and their worldview. Last night I was swatted just after 1 a.m., the Georgia Republican wrote on Twitter. I can't express enough gratitude to my local law enforcement here in Rome, Floyd County. More details to come, she added. But so Marjorie Taylor Greene was off this time this year. Like right now, many of them are off over the weekend. They return home to their districts, to check in on their districts and so forth. And here's Marjorie Taylor Greene with her family. And this is a very dangerous situation, as we have covered here on the BuzWeaver channel. You guys may remember from 2019, we covered this here on the channel. An Ohio gamer gets prison time over a swatting call that led to a man's death. Because we have seen situations involve swatting, or we've seen situations involving police going to people's homes. You may remember the woman, the elderly lady that had her shotgun when police were going into her home. The police had served a warrant in an obviously not at the correct address, and she had her shotgun not knowing that the police were there. They probably announced it, but she's an elderly lady, so she doesn't know what's going on. It's confusing. They go in sometimes with a no-knock, which means they don't have to knock and announce themselves. They just bust in, and she tried to defend herself, and they shot and killed this woman. And here we have a similar situation. An Ohio video gamer who played a role in the hoax phone call that led police to kill a man in Kansas was sentenced Friday to 15 months in prison, authorities said. KCS Viner, 19, was one of the 3 defendants in a case of swatting, making a false report to send police somewhere that led Wichita police to erroneously shoot and kill 28-year-old Andrew Finch at his front door in December of 2017. So these situations are very dangerous because the police are responding to a very high tense situation. And so they're going to be ready to go because at the end of the day, the police officers want to go home also. They want to go back to their families. And these are just many examples that we have covered here on the BuzWeaver channel of leftist organizations, leftist groups, or individuals who don't agree with certain individual people. We can't always prove that it's someone on the left, but it is typically in that realm, or at least within the within reason to think that it is individuals of this particular persuasion that are making these phone calls. And of course, we know how radical they can be. These are the same people that burn cities and shine industrial lasers into police officers' eyes. So making a phone call for them is not going to be a big deal. But social media personality and podcaster CatTurd was swatted at his home, which is very amazing. And as we have talked about here on the channel, we're still 1 year and 2 months out from the election, and things are only going to get wilder. So I'd like to know what you guys think down below. Are we going to see a continuing escalation of this, and particularly when we see more of the disparity between Donald Trump and Joe Biden polls in the general? Now, of course, I always see it as a dog whistle to get the left activated, right? Because there's nothing more than the media likes to generate than hate. And if they can generate hate towards Trump, then obviously they reach out to their ilk and they'll come out and obviously vote against Donald Trump. But nonetheless, guys, that's what I had for you on this particular update. And so all of you across social media, New Tech, I want to thank all of you guys for your guys' continued support, as well as you guys here on YouTube. That would be the channel icon, by the way, that you see there on the screen that you guys can click on to subscribe, as well as notifications. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.